Oh, don't get that. There you go, Chris.
Mint.
There you go. Voila. Floor is yours.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new year. So I'm hanging out here with Efren and his brother. We are chilling at their tint shop. So I was gonna do this video a little bit differently. I wanted to do a cinematic thing, and I do have some shots that I will throw in here because we will be doing a little bit of a talking segment as I go through this. But I kind of wanted to reflect back on the new year and see what we got done, see what we accomplished, anything like that. So the previous couple of years I've done videos where I kind of just compile the footage together and go through it like that. Want to try something different this year, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So I guess we should probably just get started. But before we jump into it really quick, on topic of the S2000's, mine is actually with a subscriber right now, getting it painted. He is finishing up the body work on it and prepping it. So hopefully we'll have that back here in a couple of days. I'm very excited to see it one color again. And hopefully it turns out good, because I'd love to show you guys and be able to recommend him some more work. But yeah, a little update on that. So I think that we can all agree, with politics aside, that 2021 was a pretty hard year. Just like any year, it had its ups and downs, but it was also full of accomplishments and achievements and good times. So let's take a look back at some of my favorite parts of the year. So at the end of 2020, I lost my job because of the pandemic, so I entered 2021 trying to start my own line of work, but I had to figure out a way to survive while doing so. So starting off 2021, I was able to actually pick up a cheap little Miata, if you guys don't remember. It was a little 94, and we did that one as the channel's first actual fix and flip, and that turned out pretty darn well, and I was able to knock that thing out within just a couple of weeks, and I was able to make some pretty decent money off of that car right off the bat. After selling the Miata, I was able to take some of that money and reinvest it and start buying materials and upgrade some of the shop stuff, so that way I could start making the bumper bars that you guys had so wanted. That best feeling ever, I think for sure this year, was that feeling I got when I sold out that first batch of bumpers, that first batch of 10 DA front bumper bars. It just made me feel like I was on top of the world, and it made me feel like I was able to actually get something done, and that all of this was even possible for me to do. And using some of that money from the first batch of bumper bars, I was able to reinvest it, and I was able to get a new welder for the shop because the Harbor Freight one I was using had kind of crapped itself out, and then we were able to get some new tooling around the shop to just help make everything so much easier and just more efficient. So come March, after a few months of hustling, just trying to make sure I could pay the bills, and I had actually started setting some money aside because the bumper bars were starting to do pretty well, and I was taking in any amount of welding work or mechanical work that I could. And by the start of March, I was actually able to pick up my attainable dream car, the Honda S2000. And I think that was definitely my favorite part of the whole year, because that is such a quick and memorable trip for me. Because I remember my friend Vu had found me the car on Craigslist after hunting through Craigslist, Facebook, and OfferUp, and he sent me the listing. So I emailed this guy in the middle of the night, and he got back to me middle of the next day after the car had been up for a couple of hours, and he agreed to work with me on the price a bit if I came out, since I was coming all the way out from Arizona. So I told my girlfriend we were hitting the road that night when she got off of work, and then on the way out we picked up DJ and his girlfriend, and we hit the road for our 13-hour road trip and drove through the night from Arizona up to San Francisco/San Pueblo, California. And that drive was a grueling 13 hours, let me tell you. Not only was it cold, but I could not sleep for crap, I could not eat, I could not drink. I was beyond anxious and excited because I knew I was finally having the chance to get my dream car. And then what do you know, we finally showed up into the area that the guy lived right around 6-7 a.m. And I remember we went to this little ma hole-in-the-wall coffee shop, and we went there. We had to sit outside because of the restrictions from the pandemic, and it was freezing cold, and we were just relying on the warm coffee to hopefully give us any sort of warmth while we had to wait for this guy to wake up and get the car ready for us to come pick up. After breakfast, while we waited for the guy to get the car ready, we were able to drive up through the city of San Francisco, see some of those really cool tall buildings and some of those crazy steep hills, and we even got to go across the Golden Gate Bridge and see Alcatraz out in the bay, and it was just such a surreal, cool feeling. I mean, it just was something that it's one of those things where you don't really realize what you're doing until you're in it, and then you realize that you're actually doing it, and that's my favorite part. And then sure enough, we get to the house, we get the car. It needed a little bit of work, but I knew I wasn't gonna leave empty-handed, so I did what I wanted to do the whole time, and I just handed him the money, took the keys, took the title, and hit the road back home for Arizona. Another 13-hour drive back down the mountain. And then fast forward a couple weeks and we were able to stack up a bunch of parts for the S2000 that it needed, and Doge and your boy Ramon came by and helped me get the car back up to snuff where I think it needed it to be, and made it super reliable and more safe to drive down the road. If you guys don't remember what got me fired in the first place besides this pandemic, it was going to Florida and a bar on the beach and vacation. So you know what we had to do again? We had to go to Florida to hit the bar on the beach for a vacation. But you know what? There ain't nobody around to tell us we couldn't do it because we worked for ourselves. So we did just that. We went to Florida for the Honda meet to meet up with Honda Pro Jason and Mark from Honda Street Garage, and we hung out with Zosh while we were out there, and it was just a really, really good time. But Florida wasn't the only trip that we knocked out that year. We went to Colorado 3 separate occasions. So the first time, that was a fun trip that me and my girlfriend had taken. We went up to go support our friend Chris Wu in his event that he was hosting at Pikes Peak International Raceway. That was my first time ever driving up there. It was a super sketchy yet super fun trip, and we took the S2000 because the S2000 is just such a fun car to drive and it's perfect on those road trips. And then of course the second time we took all 3 S2000s. So the second Colorado trip was up there going for the Horizon Festival, aka Grid Life, at Pikes Peak International Raceway yet again. So Doge, Ramon, and I packed up our S2000s and we hit the road for about a 14-hour drive through the back mountain roads of Colorado, through New Mexico, and the top corners of Arizona. So that was a very fun trip, and that was definitely one of those lifetime experiences that you don't get to do very often, especially if you guys remember watching the videos when Ramon actually had no top on his S2000, so he had to bear it through the rain and the wind and the blistering heat without a top on the car, and yet we still made it just fine. We all had a memorable time, went to the top of Pikes Peak, had some amazing food, had an amazing time, and met some awesome people. We can't forget the work that we got done though. So on my personal projects, other than the S2000 goals, I didn't really get much done because this year was all about making money and trying to grow and survive as a person and help myself and those around me. But the Integra did get a little bit of love. So if you didn't watch through the videos, we did a full interior restoration on the Integra. So I stripped it all the way down. Doge helped me rebuild the entire interior harness from scratch from a spare harness that we had. I got experience to build my very first in-car roll bar, as well as repaint the whole hatch, make a new battery box, re-dye all the carpet, paint all the plastics, and flock the dash. The interior of the Integra became quite nice after that, and we got it put back together. Even though it did take us a few months to get everything done, I think the car turned out fantastic. But just like all good things, it has to come to an end at some point. So of course it had to be with the S2000 because I did get in that fender bender in September of 2021. So unfortunately I was getting body work done, left the shop, and then a work truck had cut me and another car off because he was on his phone and he was in standstill traffic. He ended up darting over, sending both of us out of our lane to avoid hitting him, and it could have been way worse, but I ended up locking the brakes up in that lane and tapping the bumper of another car, which sent the whole last part of the year into a constant back and forth battle with body shops and insurance, and it's just been a nightmare, but it's finally getting taken care of. But in the midst of dealing with all the S2000 stuff, something that I've constantly been trying to work on this entire year is trying to be the best person that I can be at everything that I'm doing. So I try to put the most that I can into my work. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see the progression that I've been making on my welding and my fabrication skills this last year, and I feel like I've grown a pretty good amount, and I'm very, very proud of that, and I'm very thankful that you guys have been supporting me this whole journey, because we have sold a whole bunch of front bumper bars to the DAs, we've sold a good amount of the rears, we've sold DA harness bars, the EG Del Sol front bumper bars, and a bunch of Del Sol roof braces, and not to mention how much drop-off work that I've had. And again, I can't be more thankful and more grateful that people are giving me the chance to have a successful career potentially working for myself, and this is only just the beginning, and it's already come so far in a year, so I just want to thank you guys. But I did get to do some pretty cool swaps this year, or help with some pretty cool projects this year. My favorite one of the year for sure was Ben with his all-wheel drive turbo K24 Honda Civic wagon. I think that one came out to be a great success, and I'm just excited that I was able to be a part of something so unique and cool for my area, and being one of the most intricate jobs that I've had to do yet. And then just this last week, I was able to be a part of that 302 swapped S13 Nissan 240SX, which that was a very neat little setup. I got to build a full stainless exhaust for it, and I'm stoked, and the owner was stoked too. But it's because of my YouTube channel and meeting people like you guys that watch my videos and support me, I'm able to get these types of cool oddball jobs because the word of mouth and people reaching out to me from these videos has allowed me this. But I don't want to draw this video out too long. I just wanted to make sure you guys had something to look back on with me this year. So I do want to be ever so thankful for the people I've met, the times that we've had, and the memories that we've made. I've had a lot of fun this year, and it has obviously had its ups and downs. I think it was a good happy medium. I think it could have been a lot worse as well as a lot better. So I'm hoping for a lot of growth financially, physically, spiritually, everything in 2022. Not trying to be that cliche guy, but you know, I'm hoping things go better this next year than they did this year, because the first year is always a growing pain. Just for some lulls before we go get some lunch, before we call this a video, I was gonna let Efren drive the.
Oh Lord.
Oh yeah, I forget you're tall and the seat's fixed.
Oh, okay, it's all good.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, is that okay?
Yeah, you gotta like slam it. There you go. It's an old car. Treat it like one.
Oh, this is gonna be weird. This is my first right-hand drive car ever.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So key forward, all the way. Okay, and then we got the push start here.
That clutch is stiff, dude. Holy shit. Oh my god, I'm not ready for that. I'm just gonna let it. Oh god, your throttle is really nice.
No power steering, so she heavy.
Okay, it feels weird being over here.
Does it?
Yeah. Oh Lord. This dash looks sick though, dude. It came out really good.
Yeah, the flock.
Yeah.
Oh, is this where you've been doing all your donuts?
Yeah. Yeah, look at that. That's mostly me.
Oh yeah.
I was not ready for that bunny hop.
Yeah, you can just whip a Yui if you want to try it again.
Go down this road right here.
Yeah.
Be more easy on the throttle.
It's a little ripper though, ain't it?
It moves, dude. Hell yeah.
Those old tires ain't helping the case either. So if you rode it out with me to the end, I thank you very much. And I do want to just thank you guys again for taking the time out of your days to watch my videos this last year. And hopefully this new year, 2022, has lots of growth for us on both the YouTube channel, on the SD Fab side of things, and on the life side of things. Because, you know, life moves fast, and you can't just sit around and wait for things to come to you. You got to go out and get them. And I've learned that the last year for sure. So again, thank you guys very much for hanging out with me here on this channel. If you did like this video, please be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you want to help support the channel, again, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and of course merch and other things like that help the channel greatly. I have all the links for my merch and everything else down in the description if you want to check those out. Anyways guys, do what you love, forget about the rest. We'll see you in the next one, and Happy New Year. Peace out.